The Indian skincare market has become a dense crowd of domestic startups and global giants, all competing for the same shelf space. For anyone scrolling through a digital feed, the result is a constant stream of rival claims that make choosing a single bottle feel like a high-stakes gamble. Navigating this requires weighing brand identity, digital presence, and pricing against the actual contents of the bottle. Two distinct voices dominate the conversation: the promise of 100% natural purity versus the clinical authority of science-backed actives. We are stripping away the marketing hype to see exactly what you are getting and what you are giving up with the industry's heavy hitters. This chart allows us to map the different philosophies currently fighting for your attention. The vertical axis represents clinical efficacy, measuring whether a product offers basic daily care or highly concentrated scientific treatments. The horizontal axis tracks brand aesthetic, moving from purely functional, medicinal packaging to premium, sensory experiences. Most generic brands scatter randomly across these quadrants, which is why the average buyer feels so much friction when trying to find a consistent routine. Understanding these positions transforms a confusing purchase into a clear choice between science, ethics, and aesthetics. We'll begin with the science-first approach, a category that has gained significant credibility among skincare enthusiasts recently. This matrix shows how the science-first philosophy prioritizes exact percentages of active ingredients and transparent clinical formulations. In India, Minimalist and the Dermaco are the primary brands built on this transparent, ingredient-led model. Choosing these brands provides targeted, dermatologist-backed treatments for specific skin issues while keeping the price point accessible. However, that efficiency usually means sacrificing the sensory experience. The packaging is basic, and there is very little emotional or aesthetic connection. On the opposite end of the spectrum is the natural and ethical philosophy. As the second row indicates, this approach focuses on toxin-free, herbal, or vegan ingredients, often leaning heavily on influencer marketing. Brands like Mamaearth, Wow Skin Science, and Plum Goodness dominate this sector. The benefit here is value alignment, allowing you to use safe, familiar ingredients that meet specific ethical or eco-friendly standards. The trade-off is that these natural formulations sometimes lack the advanced, concentrated actives needed for severe dermatological concerns, which can lead to inconsistent results. This creates a clear divide. You are often forced to choose between clinical problem-solving power and your personal ethical preferences. For those who don't want to make that choice, a middle ground has emerged: the aesthetic hybrid. Looking at the third row, we see a strategy that pairs science-backed clinical actives with premium, photogenic packaging. Dot & Key has positioned itself as the leader in this specific market segment. This provides a balanced outcome. You receive reliable clinical results delivered through a high-end sensory experience that elevates your self-care routine. The cost is a mid-premium aesthetic tax on the pricing, and you are choosing to trust a newer D2C brand over established corporate giants. Those established giants represent the final category: legacy trust. The fourth row represents multinational corporations that rely on decades of data and massive research and development budgets. L'Oreal and Neutrogena are the primary examples of this approach in the Indian market. Buying from them guarantees globally vetted clinical stability and a level of dermatologist trust that newer brands haven't yet earned. The drawback is a higher price point for branding that can be slow to adopt modern niche trends like clean beauty or personalized formulas. Ultimately, whether you opt for the premium aesthetics of Dot & Key or the legacy trust of L'Oreal, the decision rests on how much of a financial premium you are willing to pay for factors beyond just the active ingredients. Since every brand carries a specific set of compromises, you have to be intentional about where you spend your budget. This path helps you identify which strategy actually fits your lifestyle by starting with one question: what is the most important factor in your purchase? If you are an ingredient optimizer, your focus is on the data. If your goal is simply fixing a skin issue as efficiently and affordably as possible, your best options are Minimalist or the Dermaco. If you are an ethical consumer, your priorities shift toward the source. For those who need their routine to be vegan, sustainable, or plant-derived, Plum and Mamaearth are the appropriate choices. If you fall into the aesthetic hybrid profile, you want the best of both worlds. If you require clinical efficacy but refuse to use products with basic medical packaging, Dot & Key offers that specific balance. Finally, if you are a trust traditionalist, you should stay with L'Oreal or Neutrogena to ensure your products are backed by the most rigorous global testing. Instead of following the latest trend, choose the brand philosophy that aligns with your specific goals and invest in the routine that works for you.